Joining us now at Post 9, Chance Mims, founder and CEO of Academy, along with the firm's president and former New York Giants great Phil McConkey. It's great to have you guys back in what has been a tradition for us, and we're so happy about it.
Thank you for having us.
I'd love to hear from both of you because what matters most to me is hearing from you about what this day means to you. Phil, you go first.
Well, personally, not only did we serve and the great veterans, but I have a daughter that just graduated from the United States Naval Academy.
Wow.
This past May. Her name is May, and she's actually at the basic school in Quantico, Virginia right now. Going to be a Marine Corps officer because he's a lot tougher than her dad.
You managed to do okay. We could talk about a little football later, of course, but what about you, Chance?
I got to tell you, Veterans Day is absolutely incredibly meaningful to me. You know, our firm being military veterans run and owned, but it's bigger than just veterans. I mean, it's an all-volunteer force, the best U.S. military, the best military force in the history of the world, and it's all volunteer, and it's incredible. And so it's about celebrating the United States as well and the opportunities we have here.
For those who don't know, how would you describe the ethos of Academy?
Well, we, owned and operated by military veterans, so we're bringing in military veterans right out of the military, and that's really what we're going after. We're going after the culture that they bring from coming out of the military. That leadership that they learn there. That they're touching technology. They're team players. And they're about service. They didn't sign up for the paycheck in the military. They signed up to be about something bigger than themselves. So any company out there would want that, to be able to change the culture, improve the culture from the inside out of their company. It's an incredible opportunity.
How would you define that?
Yeah, that's one part of of what makes us so efficient in what we do, especially for our customers. It's adding value. Hiring, training, mentoring, transitioning military veterans is again that one part of it. The other is adding this differentiated value. We've got 36 now subject matter experts, admirals and generals who have their finger on the pulse of the geostrategic risk landscape. So when you're making investment decisions, when you're trying to figure out, when your next transaction is and something flares up in the Straits of Hormuz, we become the go-to entity on Wall Street for big and small firms to understand geopolitics.
We always we always think about geopolitics. They're always in the news, sometime more in the periphery than right in front of our faces. But what area of the world concerns you right now? Whatever relationships, strategic or otherwise, we have, things that are festering out there that are on your mind or keep you up at night? China,
what they're trying to do, the war, with Russia right now. I mean, those are two big areas. I think that the Chinese threat is a big one that we've all got to be concerned about and worried about. With China, I think, they haven't been involved in a conflict in, however many years. And, I think they could see some of the problems that the Soviet Union and Russia is having going over a land bridge. They talk about maybe taking over Taiwan. That's 100 miles of open ocean. Gives them hopefully maybe, doubt in their minds that they could execute properly after they see the issue that Russia's having.
Part of what you celebrate today, I mean, this is a hat for the VETS ETF that you have. 2-year anniversary, because I think we announced it on this program at the time, and also $1 billion AUM. You're over $1 billion now. What is actually in the VETS ETF for those who don't know?
Yeah, so we're doing loans to U.S. service members and to military veterans. So home loans, VA loans to military veterans. We're also doing loans, SBA loans to military-owned and veteran-owned businesses. And so that's something that's so near and dear to our hearts. This is something that's about our company. This is the American dream. We're investing in the American dream so others can experience it like we did. We bought houses in expensive areas. The Navy's located in very expensive areas. We went on to be able to pull equity out of those homes to go start businesses. And that is something that's what Veteran Days represents right there. It's honoring the men and women once they get out of the military and continuing to set them up for success.
You have a market view?
Yeah, so we're upstairs right now. We have 120 people right upstairs in the big boardroom as we speak. We have our geopolitical intelligence group up there right now, talking to some of the largest corporations, asset managers. A lot of it's around geopolitics, but so artificial intelligence. I heard you talking about that earlier.
Well, we can talk about it every minute of every day, it feels like.
Yeah, so we're talking about that from a geopolitical standpoint and security standpoint. So we're talking a lot about production for security. So the U.S. and having to make sure that we're producing stuff here that protects our national security. We think that that's going to be something that's a big area of growth. You look at data centers, you look at artificial intelligence, you look at energy. That's very important that that we are having control of some of those areas here in the United States, and it's not outsource somewhere else. And so we're having a lot of conversations with some big corporations, big asset managers upstairs right now.
Should we talk some ball for a minute?
Let's go. Bring it on.
I mean, you guys, you got head coach problems now, right? Former New York Giant, great. Touchdown in the Super Bowl, of course. What's going on?
If you have a quarterback in today's NFL, you have hope. And I think the Giants have a quarterback. I really like Jackson Dart. I think that's the first place you got to start. But again, they're at rock bottom. Another head coach, a difficult situation. But if you're a fan, you're an optimist. I'm a fan. I'm optimistic with this quarterback. I think we're going to get this right.